Hi, my name is Eddie and we're here at Web Engineering 2019 in the lovely Palma, Mallorca, Spain. We've met so many amazing people. The Dashboard Hub team have really been speaking to everyone and has really got stuck in and helped out, and people have already asked if they're going to come next year, so it's been great. An Unconference is where there's no planned talks. People turn up on the day and propose talks they would like to give. So it was really, really interesting. It was so good and so many great talks, and we videoed them. Subscribe to my channel below so when the videos do come out from the talks, you get notified of those videos. It wasn't just about coding, it was also about soft skills, a whole variety. Body language, how to present at a talk, how to present at a meeting, how you can change your coding to reduce the impact on climate change. So tech is for everyone, tech is for you. Hi, my name is Eddie and I'm here at Web Engineering 2019. I have the awesome Thomas with me, and I do say awesome because he is. He does so much for the community and he's started many startups and he's done so much. So I'm going to let him introduce himself because I will not do him justice. Thomas, thank you very much for having us here. We really appreciate to be part of your community, part of your network, your friends, your family. I love coming here every year. I think this is my maybe 5th or 6th year. I have to check with Sarah, she remembers these dates. We're really looking forward to next year already, so it's great. But please introduce yourself and tell us, how you got involved in web engineering and what you do.
First of all, Eddie, also thank you for being here. And I don't know if you know that, but you were the very first person for this year to buy the tickets. So you got order number 1. Very much appreciated. So my name is Thomas. I work with ScaleCommerce and I'm the organizer of the Web Engineering Unconference for the 3rd year now, I think. We are a really small group here. It's only like 100 people. Not so usual for a conference, but for us this is very, very important because this means that we really can have a culture of sharing. So not only like technology stuff, but also like what drives you personally. And this is so important for us that we are like more like friends or more like a family, but in the concept of a conference with only 100 people.
I think that's really important to highlight that again, to reinforce that, because I brought the Dashboard Hub team with me, and we have Lucy, and it's her first event with Dashboard Hub. She's coming here to help us out. But I guess I'm speaking on her behalf, but I maybe guess she was a bit nervous, not knowing what a tech event's like, not knowing about tech. And I know for a fact that she's really enjoyed it, and she had a really good time, and everyone, she's giving us a thumbs up behind the camera.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I met Lucy yesterday at dinner, and she told me that she was sort of overwhelmed about the number of non-tech topics here at the Web Engineering Conference, which usually is a tech conference. And that made me really proud, because this is the one thing I really want to emphasize, that this is a community event not only for tech people, but also for like project managers. And we also have one of the partners of my team, she's an actress, and she also gave a talk about body language while giving talks. And this was so awesome, and it was a perfect fit for the spirit that we want to have here.
It was an awesome talk, and we also had a social media talk, because it all ties in. As engineers or being in tech, even not engineers, like say project managers, we all have to be aware with how we present ourselves, our body language, we all have to give meetings and stand up in front of, it might only be 5 people, it might not be 100 people, but we all have to get better at that. And then Judith gave a talk on getting feedback. No matter what industry you're in, law, banking, accounting, you need to accept feedback and give feedback to get better. It's the only way we can get better. So yes, there were so many non-tech talks, which is great because it's an unconference. So the people here decided that they needed to learn more about that or share more about that. And also I noticed, so last year I remember there were probably maybe, I'm guessing this number here, so correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 75% of people wanted to give talks, and 25% of people would like to hear more on these subjects. Yeah. But I think this year there were a lot more people who raised their hand and said, I'd like to hear more about this subject. I don't know what the percentage was like, maybe it was 50-50, but it was great, people feeling safe and comfortable to say, I don't know about this. Is there someone in our little family of 100 people who can maybe just shed a bit of light on it? And one thing that Django really pointed out to me, it's about starting the conversation. You have an hour, a 45-minute or an hour slot. You don't have to fill it. You just need to be that person, maybe just start the conversation for a few minutes, give some experience or something you've read, and then let other people give their feedback. And I think it breaks the ice for everybody else. And what you've created here is phenomenal. So my only request to you, my only feedback to you, and you know what it is, I say it to you every year, can we have it twice a year, please? And I know it takes a lot to organise. Well, I don't, because I just turn up and it's amazing. And there's food's brilliant, the weather's brilliant, the venue's great. So I don't know what it takes to organise it. So I appreciate though it's hard work. That's my only feedback.
We will think about that, and then you will join the organizing team, so then we can talk again about having it twice a year. But I want to say something, because I also noticed that this year the number of requests for talks is much higher than last year. And I think this is because many of the attendees here behind us, for them it's the first Unconference. So they are not used to the concept of an Unconference, which is that there's no schedule, no agenda pre-made. So in the morning of the first day, everyone who wants to talk about something will propose this topic, or everyone who wants to hear about something can request the topic, and then people will vote. And last year we had lots of first unconferences, so we explained to them how it worked, and I think maybe they thought about it, and this year they had the courage to also request a topic, and this is awesome to see that.
It was so good. I recorded that, and it was brilliant. We took loads of pictures. I think in that session alone, and people were having planning what talks they wanted to submit and what talks they wanted to vote on, I think we must have got over 500 photos and a lot of footage. It was brilliant. So I really look forward to going through that, because people were so passionate about it. And then talks got joined together, which I thought was really nice. That people said, I want to hear more about this, or I want to talk about this, and we're like, actually there's a lot of overlap, let's bring it together and let's share our experiences, challenges, and so forth. So I thought that was really good. People weren't trying to isolate themselves. No, this is mine, no one's going to interfere. People joined forces. So some talks had 2 or 3 speakers, is probably a bit too harsh, probably like moderators or people who just started the conversation, and then other people got involved, and it was brilliant. I mean, we only had 2 cordless mics in some events, and we wish we had more, because there were so many people, getting involved, which was really good. And so Dashboard Hub team were running around with the mics, but it was really good. We've really enjoyed it, and I think people have really enjoyed it, because the feedback we got was excellent. It was really good.
So just before lunch, I met a guy, and he told me that usually he did not belong to a tech conference, but from their team someone got sick and he got the seat for the conference, and he told me that he's the content manager, like writing the blog posts and the newsletters. And then I asked him, okay, how is it for you? And he was like, it's amazing, and he absolutely does not regret coming to a tech conference as a content manager. So I think this speaks for itself.
That is awesome. That's so great to hear. So, ScaleCommerce, what do you do? And I'm asking you about lucky number 7.
So ScaleCommerce basically is a hosting company, renting out servers to customers. We totally specialize on e-commerce, because the niche that we live in is helping the shops increase their performance in terms of reducing page load time. Basically, our target group are shops which are starting to maybe do TV ads, or sort of outgrown their architecture, which until now was totally fine, but now they sort of need to reach the next level in technical evolution. And our job is to help these online shops.
Awesome. And how long has the company been around for?
It's the 4th year.
And you've gone from strength to strength. I understand this year you grew your team, I think, not this year, but recently you grew your team by another 3 members?
Yes, we grew by 3 members, so now we are 10 in total, and actually all of them are here, included in accounting, so everyone is here and everyone is enjoying a week on Palma.
Yeah, you brought the whole company. I think that's great, right? It's tech is for everybody, it includes everybody, and that's brilliant. And so before the event, you spent a week in Palma, so you had a finca. So what did you do for the week? Did you work for a couple of hours and then relax the rest of the day? Did you have it planned?
The reason why we did this trip, to have all team members, the whole company in a finca for 1 week, is because we don't have an office. So we are a remote-only company all over Germany. So for us, this where we go to a conference is the perfect place to just go for a few days more and then work together. So we really had a similar approach like here. On the first day we sort of voted what work needs to be done, and then we decided on if this package of work will benefit from doing it together here on Mallorca, or if we can take this back and do it next week. And with this we really could prioritize what we will work on. Basically we did some hours of work. Also, the pool was so nearby, and then in the evening we just had dinner together. It was awesome, and I think all of them very much appreciated that it felt not like having your colleague in the bedroom next to you, but it was like a family vacation.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. I saw the photos and the videos, and it looked like so much fun, and I heard the stories afterwards. So it's really good. So Anyone watching, I'll put a link below for our previous video last year where we talked about remote working and how, in a nutshell now, Thomas was really against remote working a few years ago, maybe more than a few years ago, and then when you started ScaleCommerce, you went the other extreme, you did fully remote, and it's gone from strength to strength. So I'll put a link below and you can watch that video. Yeah, it was so good. So you're fully remote, you got no offices, you brought people a week before the event together in the Finca, and it just sounds amazing. It really does sound good.
Maybe next time we can share a Finca with the Dashboard Hub team.
That sounds awesome, that sounds good.
And then let's work together for a week.
That'd be great. Mini hackathon.
Yes.
That sounds great. Yes, we'll do that. So yeah, 2 questions. So one is about the event. So it was a huge success. It's grown from strength to strength. What would you like to see next year? Like, what's the next step for the Unconference?
I think the next step would be to maybe improve a bit the location here. So we have lots of feedback. We will try to do that. And there's one topic that we are not sure how to handle this. For this, I have to give you a bit of context, because the problem with these sorts of conferences is that most of the tickets will get bought like a week before the conference. So for us as organizers, 4 weeks before the conference, it's like, oh shit, no one's coming. We have to tell the location, how many people we are, so we have to make reservations for dinner for all the events. It's really horrible feeling when you don't have the attendees yet. So what I did was I sort of grabbed the phone and I called everyone who was here last year and I was, will you come back? And they were like, yeah, no worries, we just did not buy the ticket. And what I noticed is that a few people told me that they wanna come, but they are not sure if it's okay to fly, to have the emissions, to produce the emissions in terms of climate change. And there also yesterday, I think, was a session about climate change here. So for the next year, I'm not sure how to solve this. Obviously, you cannot reach Mallorca not by airplane, but we are thinking about maybe we will find a sponsor who will reimburse and donate for planting trees for every flight of every attendee. Nice. And I think this is a pretty good idea, because you as a sponsor, you can really make a point and make an effort, maybe even use it for marketing or something like that you greened up all the flights of all the attendees. So this is a wish, maybe we can do it next year.
No, that's awesome. I think that's great, because it's good for people to come here, like we said, all the networking, all the learning and sharing. But yes, the carbon footprint is a side effect. So if it can be offset, then I think that's really good. So we had 100 attendees this year. Would you like that to grow in the future, or is that kind of a sweet spot? How would you like to see that?
No, we not want to grow it, because as you already mentioned, and I think this is one of the things why you fell in love with this conference, because it's very familiar, it's very friendly, it's very inclusive. And during the breaks between the sessions, there are so many so personal conversations, and I'm not sure if you can have this with like 500 attendees. So currently we think this really is the sweet spot in terms of being such a friendly group of people.
Yeah. And the great thing is if you don't get a chance to speak to somebody on the first day, or you do briefly, like, hi, we'll catch up later, you know you're going to see them on the second day, whereas you're right, if it's 500 people, you might not bump into them, like the chances are lower, so I do like that. And also we bump into people at the hotels, which is great, or just walking down to the shops, and or driving past in taxis, you see someone waving out the window and you go, oh, hi! And I think it's really nice, the location is brilliant, and you know what you've built is excellent.
Yeah, so we gave everyone this sort of, is it friendship?
Yeah, friendship bracelet, I think.
A friendship bracelet.
And, Lucy, yeah.
And also guys told me that yesterday they went to the pub and then they saw some guys with the friendship bracelet and they were like, hey, you belong to us.
That's actually a really good idea. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's awesome. So where would you like to take your company in the next kind of 12 months? Do you want to grow again by another 3 people, or do you eventually want to get an office, or are you happy to keep it remote? I mean, obviously this is not set in stone. I'm just, what is your current thinking? I'm just interested from someone who is going from strength to strength, is fully remote, is growing. Do you still want to continue growing, or do you think it makes other complications?
So currently we have no plans to have an office. because the remote working works so great for us. And we are like, why do we need to change it if it works so great? And I'm not sure if we would also appreciate these weeks that we do, which we call Scale Week because of the ScaleCommerce team. I'm not sure if we would appreciate them so much if we would all have an office together. So no, we're not gonna change that. And in terms of growing, I don't know honestly, because I have not started the company to have a goal of so and so many employees. So what we do is we want to be the more or less the best technical partner for e-commerce shops, and this is what we want to do. And if we need more people to do that, then we will be more people, and if not, then not. So we totally focus on our work and not on the company size.
Do you think you will, because what do you call it? You're a consultancy. Oh, no, but you got a service, right? Because you do the hosting as well.
Yeah, we do the hosting as well. Okay. And on top of the hosting, we have the consulting part, which is improving the performance and lowering the page load time.
So you have the service as well as the consultancy, right? You have both. That's really good. I was going to ask if you would move into the service, but you do both.
Yeah.
So cool. Perfect. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.